All right, so I know you guys have been waiting for this reveal, and I figured before I show you this beautiful 90s supercar, we should find out what the wife thinks of it. What are your thoughts? It's it's pretty, right? Yeah, so anyways, without further ado, the Ford Rari Fox Body 5.0 in all its glory. Isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful. It's got a little, oh wow, I didn't notice. So, to be honest, I don't know anything about this car. I know about Fox bodies, I've had 5.0s, but this car I don't know anything about. All I know is that it is a cult classic and everybody uses it for drag racing. I mean, this thing's been in, not this car, but 5.0s have been in all kinds of movies. There's Menace to Society, Ghost it was in, Last Boy Scout. I mean, there's a list goes on and on and on. Vanilla Ice had one, Ice Cube had one. Everybody had one of these in the 90s. They were the car to have. This one's just a little bit uglier than those. So there's some things wrong with this car and there's some things right. We'll start with the things that are right. The one thing that is right is that it's a notchback and not a hatch. So we're shaving like 400 pounds off of this car right here just because it's not a GT or a hatchback LX. But it is a notchback 5.0. I don't know what the fender fender like guitar maybe? Like maybe that's what they're talking about. Looks like we've been broken into here. There's a nice little pry mark on the inside of the door. So like I said, I don't know anything about this car, so we need to get it moving and running because we want to do a baseline run of it at Wild Horse Pass, see what it's got at a baseline, and then we'll build from there and see what kind of improvements we got. So let's walk around this thing. The lovely wife has done most of that already, but I'm gonna take it all in a little bit. Yeah, so there's a little bit of weight reduction here. We left one of the studs off just so, you know, it'd be better. These actually look like two-piece welds. They might be good wheels. Yep. So the wheels are good. We'll keep those. Tires are cracking. Those are bad. Those aren't going down a drag strip, so those will have to be fixed first. This side was not pried into, so that's a win. That's a plus. The bumper, now these 90s cars, I think it's mostly just Ford, maybe some Chevy, but all these bumpers were like a yellow color and then they painted over them. So when the sun fades it off, it turns into this yellowish weird color underneath. So it used to be the easiest way to break into these cars is there's a little cap over here for this. You take the two screws out of that cap, slide the pin out, the whole lock comes out, and then you can open it with a screwdriver and lose all your subwoofers and your toolboxes and everything else out of the back. Whoa, 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 we're not showing them the inside yet. Whoa, hold on. So this side has all the lug nuts. That's unfortunate. I'd like to shave a little bit more weight off of it. These were, I'm fairly certain that these taillights were specific to the GT, so I think these were swapped out. The LX usually just had the solid light, didn't have the weird louvers and the fancy Knight Rider stuff on it. Looks like somebody had a wing bolted to the back of it too, or it had a luggage rack. Oh boy, let's see what we got inside. Oh, the door drops. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. There's some improvements to be had. Oh, right. Ooh, I just got a nice healthy whiff of whatever's in here is foul. There's definitely been some rain in, so it's got a nice little mildew smell. These seats were definitely not in this car. Everything in here was a ruby red color originally. So somebody swapped them out for these guys. which didn't last very long. Yeah, you can see the rain coming through this window onto these seats. I'm gonna have to wash my hands after this one. Oh boy. All right. Well, these things usually break too. They weren't the best. One side or the other would break and you'd kind of have a gangster lean when you were driving, and that's how it would hold you up. Oh, got some boom boom wire back here. This carpet is disgusting. Can you see it from over there?
Yeah.
I don't understand. What is all of this? Is this like soda spills?
I don't know.
The back seat's pretty bad too. I don't think I'd ride back there. Oh boy. We got keys in here? No keys. All right, well, there's some money. You want some money? The ashtrays always break too. Little spring breaks off and they don't stay closed. Just flop open and back and forth. All right, I'm a little reluctant to dive in here and sit down.
Oh, I would not.
Oh, it's locked.
Could probably
right,
just
we're
take
going
the
in.
seat out.
There is even more soda spills on the other side. We should go around the other side. Somebody had a soda party in here where they just slung it everywhere. Ooh, what's this? Power steering, that's not a good sign. Oh. Radio's gone, now we can't listen to anything. They were really concerned about the air conditioning. You got several thermometers in here. The sun's just beat up these poor cars. 25th anniversary edition. Didn't notice that before.
You guys are gonna race this?
It's gonna have some improvements. I can tell you right now that these factory 5.0s, although they felt really fast, were not really fast. I would bet that this car does 15, 16 seconds in the quarter mile, which is basically like an on-ramp speed. But it does have a short shift kit in it. That's nice. I don't know what's up with this shifter though. Looks like it hurt you if it came off. And it twists. It's nice. Oh, it's like a pistol handle, like a Browning. Got it. Well, let's see. I wish I could pop the trunk. I don't have any keys to pop the trunk to see if there's anything in there worthwhile taking a look at. Should look under the seats though. See what we got in there. Oh, some door handle covers. Both of them? Why are those off? Maybe they had the door cards off at some point. Oh, there we go. Nope, no power. All right. Nothing. Yeah, the door light's not on. Okay. Gross. All right, I'm gonna look under the seat, see if there's any treasures under here. Get all this stuff out of the way. Oh, I don't see anything. Oh, my hair touched the floor. My heart.
What?
Okay, well, let's pop the hood and see what we got under there. There was no treasures under the seat. Oh, go. Oh, it's got hood pins. It's probably for good reason.
Why? Because it just goes so fast.
I would think that was probably the intent. Although it's probably not true. And these pins they are secured in here as well. They still have the perfect shape to hold it in place. They definitely didn't bend that up with some wire or something. Oh, it's fiberglass. Maybe it's Cervini.
Did you hear the water?
You heard that, right? This thing is, you might be able to get across the desert with what water's left in the bottom down here. Ugh, maybe it all drained out. Still got the hood prop. That's a win. Nowhere to put it. I don't know what kind of hood this is. Usually Cervini was the big deal with these ones, but I don't see the label anywhere. They usually had the sticker across it. Oh boy, still got air conditioning. That's a plus. So the good thing about these 302 5 liters is that they were roller cam from the factory. So that's a win. Still hydraulic lifter, but it was roller. And they would spin pretty high. I mean, $7,000 is pretty safe, and you could probably go higher if you really wanted to attempt it, but they start floating valves with the factory springs in there. It does have the, everybody had to have one BBK, or the cold air tubes and everything else. These things have the world's tiniest throttle body ever. It's like the size of a 1-barrel carburetor from the factory. This one looks like it's already been deleted with the smog pump, so that's awesome. Looks like it's got some headers, and they capped the EGR port on them. So well, there's some wins in here so far. You could get all your money's worth of horsepower out of this thing up until 500 horsepower. Once you hit that 500 horsepower, these things split right down the middle. I don't know what it is and why that is, other than maybe the casting and the way it's built. Maybe if it had a 4-volt main, it'd be better, but they just split right down the center. A lot of the other Ford guys on here, and comment below, you can tell me how I fixed that. I've seen a lot of guys that do the 347s and they race these on the dirt. They girdled the valley, but I don't know if it really helps or does anything for them. But they were fun cars, lots of torque for a little tiny engine. Oh, this is good. Yeah, so remember what I said about the air conditioning? I was wrong. It is sawzawed off. So, well, I guess I could have figured that out since there's nothing coming off of the compressor. Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to leave it there. You're just taking up belt space. Better than getting like one of those delete kits with the idler. But those things are heavy. So you're worried about weight, that would be one of the first things to go away. Okay, so what I did with mine is I put a GT40 intake plenum on it and a lower intake in. It helped-ish, but it was still starving from this throttle body. It needed something better. Listen, can you fly somewhere else? Thanks. So the biggest improvement that I felt from doing anything to these engines, I had full-length headers, all that business, did injectors, everything else. The biggest improvement I felt was getting rid of this clutch fan and putting electric fans in there. It's just a small motor, and when that thing starts tightening up, it really takes the revs away and you really feel it. So when I put those electric fans on there, honestly, that was like the biggest improvement that I felt in like a snappy throttle response and or improvement in ET. But I did kill a lot of alternators because at that time I wasn't smart enough to put something bigger than the 80 amp or whatever comes on these factories, and I would just fry it all the time. So I was constantly replacing alternators. I kept one in the trunk, or maybe it was the 1000 watt amp and the 212s that was in the trunk too, but who knows. This guy was also along the same lines as me, so it's probably tried and true. Maybe he upgraded that and we don't have to worry about it. It's not cool unless you got the AutoZone red conduit on there. Hey, and they are BBK headers. That was the thing. Everybody had BBK stuff on their 5 liters back in the 2000s and late 90s. And everybody's power steering leaked. That was just the thing to do. So as far as things that need to be done to get this thing on the strip to get a baseline, all this vacuum stuff it's just kind of everywhere. So we need to figure all that out. Figure out what was clipped off and non-existent anymore. Maybe get rid of the EGR. There's just stuff here and there to make it a little bit better. We'll leave the throttle body in place for the baseline just to get an idea, but all the vacuum stuff has to be tracked down and figured out. Everything inside is run off of the vacuum, so we can delete all of that business. It looks like most of it's already been kind of deleted, but there's no battery. That sucks. Kind of would like to have seen if it turned over and started, but maybe we got a battery in Feinberg's shop we could toss in real quick. So beyond that, these engines were really almost kind of indestructible if you kept them below 500 horsepower. And like the one that I had in my Fox body, it got driven through a concrete wall after many passes on the drag strip, and we took the engine out of it, took that 5 liter, put it in a pre-runner Ranger that I had, and we took it to the dunes all the time. Never had any issues with it. All the factory lifters, all that stuff still from back in 91 were still in there, and it still ran great. It was fine. So this engine, properly maintained, great engine. Ignition system, undecided at this point, but we can change that up a little bit too. So I don't know What else? So we know for a fact we need tires. Know for a fact we need to chase down some stuff with the engine just to make sure that it's running all right. It's got an overflow, but it's not hooked up, so we'll run that in. That's the thing the drag strip really looks for, is that the tires are in good condition. You have seat belts that work. These things are probably the factory ones from 30 years ago, so maybe swap out the seat belts. Not that it's going to be crazy fast or anything. Got to fix the hood pins. They won't let it go down the strip with those. Need some headlights just because. The wheel studs, got to change those, get some new ones. And those don't look like they're the right lug nuts, so that'll be something to chase too. And a vacuum. Just the whole inside of it vacuumed and maybe trash bagged. Would you ride in it?
No. I don't know.
No.
I mean,
In
if
its curtain state, would you ride in it?
you put like a bag over the seat or something.
Yeah. Would it have to be like, what are the triple guard or the
It's just the
super
unknown
hefty
stains.
Yeah,
or
I don't know. I'm assuming it's soda stains, but you really
questionable.
don't
Yeah.
have any idea. It was sticky, and there's lots and lots of liquids that are sticky, so we'll just leave it at that. I mean, everything else looks all right. They deleted all the smog stuff. The smog pump is still down here, but they pulled off the side on it, so it's literally just the guts that are in there spinning, and it's not a really, it doesn't really draw any horsepower sitting down there. It's just keeping the right belt length. Without starting it and warming it up, I just don't know beyond that. There is a lot of oil on the top of this engine, and I'm hoping that's just from the power steering pump, or maybe because they opened up the compressor, it just spit out all the oil all over the place. But I'm hoping it's not something inside seeping out and leaking everywhere. She's nice. She's real. Oh my God, it just came apart in my hand when I grabbed the headrest. Okay.
Disintegrated.
What do you guys think? I mean, really, what should we do to this thing? Would really like to keep the 5.0 for a long time. There's always the option to switch into LS. Everybody does the LS in these things because, I mean, they hook up great as a drag car, and the LS has parts for days and days and days, and they don't split in half at 500 horsepower. So, I mean, that's always an option. But I'd like to see how far we could get with this 5.0. The other thing is this T5, if that is still a T5 in there, it's really only good to like 220 horsepower before they start having issues and you run the risk of breaking them. Plus the gearing isn't all that great in them. Factory four lug, which will do just fine for the time being. I don't know. Aside from a vacuum and why there's 7 pounds of Bondo on the roof is another question, but at least it's on there secure. It's not coming off. I mean, the paint's coming off on my fingers, but this is all on here really well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think we should do with this. Throwing away, it's not an option. We're not going to throw it away. Doing some crazy coyote swap, probably not an option right now, maybe down the road at some point. The intent is to make it what it is. These cars are not great for touring unless you change the whole K member and everything else, so it's going to be a drag car, a street cruise drag car of sorts. So just let us know what you think down in the comments that we should do with it and go from there. We'll see how much of that will actually apply. Well, that's going to be it for the introduction on this guy. Sorry I couldn't get the trunk open unless I go get a pry bar and break it out. But you got to look at everything and all its goodness on this Ford Rari. We're actually going to call this one Scrappy. I think it's suiting considering it was well on its way to a scrap yard, but we saved it. And we're gonna do lots of fun things with it. This door looks like it's sagging too, I just noticed. Oh, it doesn't even open anymore. Okay, cool. So we'll just go ahead and end it there. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all of you. And as always, have fun. bye.